Baofeng BF-888 frequency adjustment and disassembly. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So it's going to be about the Baofeng BF-888. I've got my older one on my bench at the moment after having had to pull the frequency up on it because the frequency had gone down, and I'll be showing you actually how to sort that out should that happen to you. It's almost a decade old, surprisingly enough. This is the first video that I'll be uploading on my reduced speed internet connection, and I've obviously started using that today. And this is the new router they sent me. Surprisingly enough, looks identical to the old one. So BT Group have pretty much standardised on a standard design, although the PlusNet one is white. So gone down from speed it was at to something a lot slower, so it's probably going to take a lot longer to upload this. I will probably put a note of that in the comments below. Now, first thing I'm already noticing that's different about these compared to the one in the other room is that the screws here and here for the belt clip appear to be slightly different. The batteries are all the same, they're all compatible by the looks of it. But the belt clip seems to be there and there, so those screws will be coming out. It does look slightly different to the one that's in there, because you can see the die-cast chassis through there, I believe, and this one you can't. So I'll be showing you how to take one of these apart as well, step by step. So we're going to go into the other room, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the frequency adjustment on the one that's out. And then we'll take one of these apart, and I can guarantee it's going to be different inside. So I'll just grab that one, and we'll go into the other room. So let's have a look at that. Okay, so this is a bit of a take two, because take one didn't go according to plan. There was the audio was echoey. It sounded like the audio had been recorded twice, and obviously there's no way of getting rid of it. If that's happened, that I can see anyway, not in the editing suite that I use. So we've got in front of us here the 888, the older one that was off frequency. The battery's connected to it and is held in with a clamp because it's the only way the battery's going in. So I've got the SDR Connect software running, so I'm using the SDR Play RSP1B, but no antenna on it. There's a very good reason there's no antenna on it. So if there was an antenna on it, there would be an overload issue. And I'm using a speaker mic so I can operate the PTT. I'll try and bring that in carefully. There's the speaker mic there. I've got to look up at the camera because I'm having to look at that rather than the screen, because I can't see the actual recording screen on the laptop, which is what we're feeding it to, so I can do picture in picture. So the trimmer we're looking for is this one down here. I'll just point to it at the tool from the side and you can see it. It's just here, and there's the crystal there. Now, when I've already adjusted this and it was off frequency, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if this trimmer tool that I've got in my hand fits. If not, I'll find one that will, because not all trimmers will fit. That one doesn't quite fit, but that's not a problem. I do have other trimmer tools. Some of them have landed on the floor, as it happens. Let's try this one that I've just picked up off the floor, because for whatever reason it was on the floor. I don't know why. And that fits. So I'm going to key it up. If I turn that clockwise, it's putting the frequency up. If I turn it counterclockwise, it's putting the frequency down. So just show you that again. Counterclockwise, frequency goes up. Well, actually, that was clockwise. So counterclockwise, frequency goes down. Oop. Clockwise, frequency goes back up. There we go. And you can see the modulation on the screen there. Now my frequency counter wasn't reading quite where I would expect it to have done. Either because the SDR's not quite warmed up or the frequency counter's not quite warmed up, but I think that's actually been on overnight, so I'm going to run another radio. 1, 2, testing 1, 2. So I've got another radio here, this is a Motorola one. And you can see that's not actually too far off frequency itself. It's actually a little bit high. Not much, but that's fine. They're better to be high than they are to be low. So all you've got to do to change that, to change the frequency, it's clockwise to make it go up, counterclockwise to make it go down, but your mileage may vary. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to take one of these radios apart. So I'm going to take this one away first, because we don't want this one anymore, because we're done with it. And we'll take another one apart. Okay, so I'm going to take this one apart. This one, I've took the battery off it. So what we want to do first, I'm going to take the screws out of this. So we can undo that. Now this slightly differs to the other radio in that the chassis pokes through this plastic trim on the older 2016 radio. This is a 2024 radio, because that's when I bought it. Actually as a pair. I was going to take that off there and get that screw out. And I'll put them on top of here. It is slightly different, but otherwise it's pretty much the same sort of construction. So we're going to remove the antenna, because we need to remove the antenna. So that's the next step we're going to do. And you'll see there's a brass ring under there, and we'll come to that shortly. And we need to take the knobs off. Now that should just slide off like that. And the other one, yeah. I found that if they don't quite come off, they can be gently levered off. I wouldn't normally use a screwdriver for this. A piece of string under it might work, but I'm going to use a screwdriver to just gently get under there and lever that one off. Not too much, just enough to get it started, and we're going to pull it off. Like that. Shouldn't really use a screwdriver. And there's your 3 brass rings there next to come out, and to take those out you can either use a specific tool to do it. There used to be a 3D printable one on Thingiverse for that purpose, but I've not been able to find it recently. But there is another way, so don't panic. That other way is a pair of pliers. So to get these out, you turn them counterclockwise. It says turning it counterclockwise and it doesn't move. So turn it counterclockwise, give it another turn. Now I have heard these are possibly different inside because the 888 has gone through an evolution. I'm going to just spin that out with something else because I don't need to worry about. So that's now, well, not quite there. I'm just trying to make sure I'm still in shot. I am. Oop, that has come out, it's gone on the floor. And I can see it, which is lucky, because we are going to need to put that back in later. Then the same again for the 2 other rings. Should be able to see those there. I'm going to put the pliers in there. Now on my older 2016 one, on those rings there was only 2 notches. On the rings on this one there's 4, surprisingly enough. Which means I think they changed suppliers part way through the manufacturing process, or they've changed suppliers when they redid the radio or something, because this radio is definitely different. Actually, I already know it's different because I've already been in here. So just turn that until it's loose enough that I can probably spin it out with something else. So I'll grab that trimmer tool I was using. It's actually loose. give it a little bit of a tap. There we go. So that's 2 of the rings out. One more, which is on the power and volume control. And same again, get the pliers into the notches on the ring. Turn the ring counterclockwise. They're all counterclockwise. And then try and give it a turn with something else once it's loose. Okay, that's not quite there, I don't think. Let's get the pliers back in there because I don't want to break my ceramic trimming tools. Okay, could use this screwdriver actually. Just to turn it slightly, they don't need much. They're not held on too far. So the next thing we need to do, is that going to come out? No, a little bit more. Let's try turning that a bit more with this trim tool. Got to be careful here. There we go. That's not coming out. Let's try and use a pen tip. There we go, we're out. So that's all 3 of those rings out. So your radio at this point should look something like that. I'll see if I can focus. There we go. Right, focus back down there somewhere. There we go. So that's how your radio should look like now. Next to take out are the 2 screws at the bottom. These are Torx T7. So there's 2 of these to take out. That's one. And there's another one on the other side. Okay. And that's your screws out. So next we need to lever this up. Now on my older one it did require me to use the spudger to do this, so I'm not going to make an exception. So I'll see if I can get the radio to be in focus there. Looks like it's in focus. So I'm going to put the spudger into the bottom and gently lever it, although that didn't take a lot of effort at all. So let's remove the radio from the case. So just pull it down gently and it should come out. And you should be presented with something a little bit like this. Now this is actually slightly different to our older radio. If I bring that back in, and that is the difference. The board is smaller in these newer circa 2024 versions. So I'm just going to put this older one to one side, and I'm going to need a photograph of that. So I will just pause while I take a photograph of that. Okay, so I've now got a photograph of that. That's to go online later. So that's now been disassembled. So that's the radio completely disassembled, or almost completely disassembled. To go any further, what you'd have to do is you'd have to take out some screws from the board. There's 3 or 4 on this board. I think there's it's 4. There's 4 there, and then you have to desolder the antenna connector, which is not something I'm going to go into on this video. And that would only be if I want to do a total teardown, which won't be in this video today. This is mainly just showing you how to get it apart. It may be necessary to remove the board on these if you want to turn them into all-star nodes. Now, the older one, there is instructions on actually how to turn that into an all-star node. These newer ones, I've not seen any instructions for that, but do correct me, because these are quite popular for turning into like all-star nodes, just to use locally around the house to connect into all-star. I don't necessarily have all the required parts to actually do that, and I kind of want to keep both these BF-888s intact, so I'd have to buy more BF-888s. So the frequency adjustment is exactly the same place. It is that trimmer there. The crystal is not visible on that side of the board. I'm going to hazard a guess it's on the opposite side if it's anywhere at all, because I can't see anywhere on there. I'll even have a look at the picture off camera, because I can actually do that. And just have to find the picture now. It'll have been synchronized to my Google Photos if it's anywhere. Let's see if it has. Yes, it has actually, believe it or not. So I'm just having a look around the area where the trimmer is. There is a position next to it for a surface mount component that isn't occupied. But there's no evidence of the crystal being there, so I think it's on the opposite side of the board. But it's the same. That same trimmer adjusts the frequency. And the date on that printed circuit board, I can tell you that, it is 2023-11-07. As I'm screwing in the middle as well for on that copper part. It looks like you'd probably also have to desolder the battery terminals to get to the other side, but I don't actually know for certain. But it definitely is different. But the frequency adjust is the same place, and I could actually demonstrate that. So let's set that up right now, and I'll show you what's what with that one. Okay, so that's the radio now connected up to the equipment. This one is set up for, let me just make sure the SDR's set correct. So this one's set up for 70cm amateur band. So we're looking at the trimmer down here. I'm just going to point to it with a trim tool, because this is the correct one that I've just prepared off camera. So we're going to pop that into there, and we're going to key it up. I'm going to zoom in a bit more on the SDR so you can actually see that. That's on 433-400. So I'm just going to zoom in a bit more on the SDR so you can actually see what's going on. Key it up again. I turn that counterclockwise, it's turning the frequency up, and I turn it clockwise, it's turning the frequency back down again. So like so. I'm going to set it to about where it was, which I believe was there. Just take that off transmit. So yeah, in these newer ones you can adjust that if they start going off frequency. That's fine. So that's basically it on these radios. So how to take them apart, how to adjust the frequency. You can go further by desoldering the antenna connector and taking these screws out. There is more on the other side of the board, but that will be probably a future video if I decide to do a complete teardown on one of these. I don't really want to do it on these because these are the ones I want to use. So I am hoping you found the video of some use regards the taking these radios apart. I'm going to put them back together off camera and obviously put them back into use. That's going to take a while, so I'm going to end the video here. So if you like what the video, you can give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, you can always give it a thumbs down. It's okay, it's fine. It's up to you which one of those you press. So if you're not subscribed to the channel already, please do. If you want early access to videos, I do have an early access option if you become a channel member. all the money for that goes back into the channel's coffers, and you can also buy me a coffee if you want. The link is on the screen somewhere. And hopefully I'll try and keep the videos coming out, because like I've said in the past, I have a bit more spare time, and I'm also going to do a little bit of a write-up on how to take this apart as well, so it's actually on the internet for all to see, because I've not actually come across anything as detailed as I've done here, even if it is detailed. And the Baofeng BF-888, pretty cheap. You can buy them anywhere. You can buy them off Amazon, Temu, Wish, eBay. You can buy actual PMR 446 type approved versions of it under the PNI brand, PNI R40 Pro I think those are. I did actually look at a pair of those. I have since sold them just to make a little bit of money, and hopefully the new owner's getting plenty of use out of them. The difference with those ones and the standard 888s is that the antenna on the PNIs will be a fixed antenna to comply with PMR 446. It's probably just glued on anyway, so it wouldn't be too difficult to get it off. Anyway, I'll pop a link to that video as well, so you can have a look at that. I didn't take those apart because obviously it would have been a bit of a nightmare given the fixed antenna, and I was going to sell them on anyway, so, and they have since been sold, so that video's still in the back catalogue if you want to have a look at it. So anyway, step 3 for now. I'll catch you in the next one, and hopefully this video will actually be going out. This is also, like I said at the beginning, the first one that's getting uploaded on this new horrendously slow connection that I've got whilst I'm needing to save as much money as I can whilst I'm still out of work. But hopefully things will get back to some kind of normality. So, catch you in the next one.